So welcome back, fellow builders. I know it's been a while, but as you can tell, it's Christmas Eve. Looks exactly the same as the other 364 days of the year, except for Thanksgiving this year. And maybe tomorrow, suppose we're getting more snow. Anyways, today we are working on the Caprice. Once again, we have another random item fail. Just one of those things that randomly fails over time. I think it's the oil pressure sensor, but we're gonna do some troubleshooting and walk you guys through that. And then we're also going to talk about what we got coming up in the next couple weeks here between the Silver Subaru, probably might start on that, and the Miata. So yeah, let's dig into this and see what's going on. Okay, so the oil pressure sensor on these cars and these engines in general are all right back here, right behind the intake. And I'm not even going to try getting a video of where this sensor is, just because it's in such a terrible place, and I'm hoping I can even get my hand back. Okay, yeah, I can get my hand back here. All right, so I got the little clip retracted. Oops. Okay, now you just got to push in the right spot to undo there we go. Hope you can see the little blue plug right here. So the troubleshooting steps that I'm using actually says to do the low reference circuit to ground, which working on aircraft, I run into this sort of thing all the time as well. The text is telling me that I need 1 ohm or less of resistance between this pin and ground, the low reference circuit, terminal 1. So according to the text, pin 1. But according to the picture I found of the terminal, pin 3 is the low reference circuit. So I'm going to figure out which one is which right now. According to the text, low reference circuit, terminal 1, but I'm not getting anything, so I'm gonna guess that that's wrong. So we're gonna go to terminal 2 here. Or terminal 3, excuse me. And we are actually getting a little bit of resistance. We got I'm getting 1.8 ohms, which according to the text is actually bad, but that's so close that I'm gonna call that good for now, and we'll go from there. Ignition on, window down. We're gonna go to, where's my voltage? Oh, it's this one. Go right here to voltage. Make sure we got a good ground. Come on. There we go, 12 volts, okay. That's probably actually a little low. Car's not running and it's drawing power right now, so we're going to go to pin 2 and we're going to check voltage. We should get 4.8 to 5.0, and we're getting 4.98, so that is perfect. Now it's also telling me to check for pin 1, the actual signal for short to voltage, and I'm actually not getting that at all. I'm going to say the wiring in the ECU is good, and now we can move on to our other fixes. Okay, so we're gonna try and pull this sensor out real quick, and I have a separate gauge that I'm gonna try and install. It's actually out of the Miata, and we're actually gonna make sure that we have oil pressure to determine whether it's the sensor or it's something else in the actual system not allowing it to build oil pressure. All right, so this is the dash panel out of the Miata, and as you can see, we got an oil pressure gauge here and a fuel gauge here, and then my digital dash kind of fits in the middle. This is gonna be the check engine light. So I'm gonna go ahead and wire this up real quick, just kind of to my little oil pressure thing back here. We're going to start her up real quick and just verify we actually have oil pressure. Yeah, we got our gauges lit up here, so that's good. I don't know what that's doing, but cool. Push to test works on our little check engine light there. And let's fire it up and make sure we actually have pressure. Oh yeah. So as you can see, we have 80 plus pounds. I hope you guys can see that. 80 plus pounds of pressure there. So I think I'm gonna let this warm up just a minute. All right, so as you saw, we have oil pressure. I think that gauge actually reads a little high because it doesn't go all the way to 0 when you shut it off. It only goes down to like 20. So I think it's reading about 20 PSI high, which is still fine. That means we're getting 60-ish PSI at idle. And the engine's pretty much, like I let it warm up pretty much all the way. So we're just going to say that this sensor's bad. That's our really only, my kind of hope that I didn't have to put $75 into my engine right here, this little sensor, was that there's a TSB for the oil filters that I guess some of them don't bypass correctly, and it prevents you from actually getting oil pressure or getting very low oil pressure, which would be no good. But as you can see, we are in fact getting oil pressure, so we can say that the sensor is bad, which isn't what I wanted to hear. But we're gonna go ahead and slap the new sensor in, and then we'll get on the scanner and actually see what our oil pressure is while the car's running. All right, so we got the sensor changed. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to clear the codes out first. So this is just going to clear everything but the permanent history codes. So as you can see here, I got all of them, which is because I started it with that connector disconnected when I had the mechanical plug hooked in to make sure that we were getting pressure. All right, so now we just gotta find okay, right here. Cool. So our check engine light is actually not showing anymore because we deleted all the regular ones, and the only ones left are the permanent ones, which those don't kick the check engine light, but they will show up for a certain amount of time. I think it's like 40 cycles. But as you can see, this is warm start because we had it running a few minutes ago. So that's gonna do it for this part of the video. Now we get to talk about what we got going on with other projects over the next week or two. So the Miata, we got to pull the engine out and remount we're gonna mount the flywheel and the transmission to it, and then we're going to reinstall it and start building our cross member. A couple videos ago, you saw we put the bell housing on the transmission and got the one of the little plates at the back ready to actually mount a cross member to it. And now we're actually going to build the cross member probably out of some of that like 2x2 tube or something like that. There's some of that square tube or something, or angle iron. I'm not sure yet what exactly we're going to build it out of, but I have a couple ideas, so we'll figure that out. And maybe we can get it set down on the ground, so that way come springtime, you know, we can roll it out. We can get everything out of it. We can pressure wash everything down, paint the engine bay, stuff like that. Like little stuff like before you put everything in and together for the last time. So I'm gonna try and do that over the next couple weeks. Obviously there'll be videos about that. And then the Subaru, I need to pull the engine and get it on the engine stand, get it apart, put new bearings in it, and it needs head gaskets, so I kind of wanted to wait. I wanted to get head studs to put the dual overhead cam heads on it, you know, put it together one more time for the last time. So I might start that in the next couple weeks. I want to do rallycross with it next year. That's kind of my plan with the Subaru. Put the stock height springs back on it with some better struts. Maybe it has 17s on it. Probably get like a 15 or 16 inch wheel for it with some tires that'll do decent in the dirt, and start on the manual swap. But I have a lot of goodies for that car. Kind of all gonna go on at once. But for now, thanks for watching, and until next time, just keep building.